Welcome back to this week's episode. I'm very excited to share another beautiful guest with you. Today we have Karissa Adkins, and she is an amazing powerhouse who is here to share with us and talk more about mindset, our bodies, and our business, and how they all parlay into this embodied leadership, this really beautiful evolution of who we become as these beautiful leaders in our own lives. And I love that you serve badass coaches and leaders who are done playing small. So, Carissa, welcome. I'd love to hear more about what we're going to dive into today, but please tell us who you are and what you do in the world, just a little bit more in depth.
Yes, yes. Well, my name is Karissa Adkins. I'm the CEO and founder of the Alpha Queen Collective and the revolutionary leader of the Alpha Queen movement. So, Alpha Queen, right? It's a revolutionary coaching program that combines strategic growth tactics along with that holistic practice to really transform your minds, your bodies, and your businesses. So I say we because it's me and my team of badass women, and we offer one-on-one coaching, group coaching, custom plans, online courses, merchandise, like everything that a woman needs in order for her to really truly step into her alpha queen lifestyle. So yes, we serve badass female coaches. Yes, we serve CEOs. Yes, we serve leaders who are ready to break through those limitations and lead impactful, transformative movements. We like to work with the ambitious women. And quite honestly, a lot of them are a little on the alpha side. Sometimes we got to help them tap into the queen, the femme side, and vice versa, right? We really focus in on a couple of core areas. And I find that a lot of coaches say that they really truly help in all areas of life, and then I get in there and I'm like, okay, but what are you doing to support their body goals? How are you supporting their relationship goals? How are you supporting, so like it's not just like, oh yes, let's make sure it's a priority. It's like, no, we're going to actually help you get into the best shape of your life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. At the end of the day, ultimately, we're here to empower women to step into their power, to own their sovereignty, and to create meaningful, profitable movements. So we're not just changing lives over in the AQC, we're leading a revelation for women who are ready to become total packages, the mind, the body, and the business.
I love that so much. I'm like, yes, yes, go get it. It's been my journey in life, and it's come in different ways. Like, I didn't just wake up and go, I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to take care of my body. Like, I started off with like being a mom and an entrepreneur with my husband, and then the body came in and I started realizing I could do things I couldn't do before, lift the weights, do the things, get stronger. And that just kind of progressively led to, like, once the main part of my mommyhood, I don't mean to say that it ever stops, but like I had more time, I'm like, what do I want to do with my life? And it's been this beautiful progression forward. But I want to talk about where you began, the most impactful part for you as well, because everyone has this beautiful story that they started somewhere and they weren't who they are in this moment. They started where they are. And so many of our listeners are finding themselves at some point in life, either through a transition, either through a huge event that just totally woke them up from where they had been before. And now they really don't know exactly what's going on with what to do next, but they're feeling inspired, pulled, and they're beginning to take that action. Like, where were you in that moment? You didn't just wake up and say, I'm going to have an Alpha Queen collective, right?
God, no.
Share that story. Those are the
Yeah.
ones.
Say what? No, if you would have asked me, over a decade ago where I would be, I'm like, stay-at-home mom, hopefully, like still like my kids love me and a good wife. Like I have no idea. And I know I thought I was gonna like dive into like my leadership and like my entrepreneurial journey, but I actually think what you bring up is a really solid point around the body. And so I'm gonna take you back to 2012. I was 213 pounds and I'm 5 foot tall, y'all. Like I was a rolling bowling ball. And I got the biggest wake up call of my life. So there I was stationed in Germany. So me and my family were an active duty military family. And we're stationed in Germany, and I have my 2-year-old at the time with me. My son's at school, he's the older one. So my daughter and I, we go to this doctor's appointment for her, by the way. It wasn't even an appointment for me, Michelle. Like I sit down and Sarah's playing, and this doctor comes in, opens up this flip chart, and she's like, listen, I'm about to have a real conversation with you. And I was like, okay, like swallow, right? Hard swallow, like what? A doctor's gonna, no, I don't think so. We're not here for me. And so I'm like in this denial period. But I was like, okay, what's up? And she said, listen, You're 5 foot tall, you're 213 pounds, you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, you drink a bottle of wine at night, you're highly depressed, and you're considered obese, right? And she's like, if you don't change your lifestyle today, that little girl won't have a mama in 10 years. She's like, so you've got to change. Like, I'm sorry that, she's like, I think she even said, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? So all that to say is that was the year that I became a powerful decision maker. And as an entrepreneur, we have to make lots of decisions, don't we? And some are big decisions, some are little decisions, but that was the day, like that I got that hard wake up call, right? But it was kind of like the snooze to the real wake up call. So I actually stormed out of that office. I was so freaking mad. I was, embarrassed. I was mad at the world because I didn't know how to, like handle my emotions at the time. Like I was a crazy Puerto Rican, and I was like, how dare this woman, like call me fat and obese and tell me I'm pretty much gonna die. Like over dramatic. That was me in my early 20s. And it wasn't until the next day, Michelle, sitting on the couch, I was looking at a picture of my mom, a picture that had been on that end table for over 2 years. And I looked at her, and this time I didn't see the entrepreneur. I didn't see the strong mom, right, that I put at such a high pedestal. I saw her cancer, and I saw her disease, and I saw her quality of life. And I was like, wow, that's what entrepreneurship is about. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. But the worst thing that I saw was I saw myself and her, right? Like I saw the vision that the doctor was trying to wake me up to. But the day before, I was just too angry to see it. And then this was the day that I was like, yo, I've got to change. And it's all got to start with my body and my mind, because I can't be a great wife. I can't be really a great mom or a leader for anyone. Like I can't even lead myself right now. Like who am I to show up and lead my kids, Like, so it all started with me hitting that body reset and getting my body and my, physical and mental shape. And I found my freedom in my health. And that's where it actually all began.
Right? Like we find it in the one area, and then that curiosity kicks in, like, oh, what else? Where else can I take a look at this? And I think it's really important. There's a couple moments in that conversation, in that story, that were powerful. I think there's all, as a mom, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, all you moms listening in, feel free to comment, but we see ourselves in a mirror at some point when we're looking at our children. And you saw it looking at a picture of your mom. My mom has passed, and so she was long gone as my little babies were small. But I woke up one day and I thought, there's this moment where you face yourself and you see something greater in yourself than maybe you've been even pretending or not even aware that you could. And it's very powerful because it's that decision where I'm done with this fizzle, right? I'm done with all of the stuff, and I got to get out of my own way. And that was always very clear for me. And I saw it in, like, yeah, I was working out and I was doing the thing, and I was so internally obsessed with the next 5 pounds that I would fall apart if the scale was any different. Like there was a lot of things where I was just running life through blinders, right? But as they got older, I had this epiphany moment of, I don't want to pass that on to them. And I have two beautiful daughters, 6.5 years apart, and I'm watching my teenage version of my oldest one being who she is. She's got some, gluten sensitivities, but she's owning this. And there was a moment where I said, I want a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
There's no way I want this to be part of their story. And it opened up a world for me that I had been asleep to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very powerful part of your story, because we're going to find ourselves there many times throughout the growth journey, especially when you say, I want to be an entrepreneur. And there is a lot of heightened like freedom that feels like it comes with that. And there is, but that freedom that you said with that reset, it had to open you up to, holy moly, this shit is hard. And I can't go back. I see too much now.
Yeah, for sure. I was definitely woken up, and and I remember going through that journey. It took me about 17 months to lose the 100 pounds. And I wasn't a young, chubby child. Like I was an athlete. So I completely lost myself in a matter of a couple of years. I was like, what happened? Like I just woke up one day and I was like, what is happening to my body? And I get like, and I'm still so young. But yeah, all of that led me to where I am today and inspiring women and just reminding them that it's never too late to hit the reset. Like really, you cannot. It's never too late, whether you're building a business, starting something new, going to, starting a new corporate job, whatever it is, it's never too late to hit that reset. And that's incredibly important. But you have to be willing to wake up and become conscious and not just live in life on autopilot anymore. And I
Right.
could, and it all just unfolded.
Right. So let's talk about quantum leadership. So how, as that began to move you into a whole new experience, the business, the idea, the mission began to
Yeah.
be formed. So let's quantum leap ourselves a little bit into that piece. That's such an important piece, and I intentionally love the word quantum because we really can shift our timelines, and it doesn't have to take forever, right?
Matter of seconds. I mean, that was the powerful decision, right? It's like I'm no longer going to accept who I am right now, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get me to the other side. So quantum, right? It's like, how can I collapse time and make time work for me, not against me? All of like, I want to kind of go back even a couple more years just because like I obviously didn't just lose the weight and become like this badass quantum leader speaking all over the world and coaching thousands of women. Like it didn't start there. When I moved back from Germany, it was a hard time. I hit another reset. Like I could probably have a whole conversation about all the wake up calls that I had. But when I moved back from Germany, not even 2 days in the States did I lose my mom to cancer. And I didn't even get to say goodbye in person. And I just remember thinking, what am I going to do? Like my plan was to come back to Nebraska and, work alongside my mom to learn her family business, like to even more, right? To eventually take it over. Like I thought my freaking life plan was made out for me. And I was like, this feels so good and easy, right? But then life kind of hit me one more time. And I just had no idea who I was without my mom and her company. And so I remember I was searching through her papers and filing everything. And it took about three months that I was going through all of her stuff. And I all of a sudden found this black leather bound ledger, like a business ledger. I had no idea what this was at the time, but I opened it up. It's like a bunch of pluses and minuses, now what we would call a P&L. And I, in that moment, it was like her speaking to me and she's like, Karissa, you don't need my dream to go out and be great. Like you get to go create whatever it is that you want to create. You don't need that was her dream. And so I kind of shut the book and I made that powerful decision again. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start my own business. I was absolutely right. So I actually started my very first company at the age of 26 in 2026. No, 2020. And at 26, in 2012, I started Suit Up Tuxedos, Florals, and More. And I thought that was the path. Like I thought that I was going to be on it. But it wasn't until 2 years into that company, this gal named Becca walked in the door, and I kind of knew her from the local networking and communities, like relationship building. And she starts talking to me all about this role that she needs to fill. It's like all the qualities, the personality type, like the connections. And I was like, girl, I don't know anyone like that. Like she sounds like a pretty cool woman, but I don't know anyone like that yet. And she's like, you're not picking up what I'm putting down. We're here for you. And I was like, we're in my shop. I mean, I literally kind of like looked around. I was like, we're in my tuxedo shop. Like, what is happening? And she pretty much gave me, I'll speed up that, we'll quantum leap there. She pretty much gave me 7 days to decide if I was ready to leave my company and go work for someone else's. And
Yes.
in 3 days, yeah, I got so crystal clear on the vision and the direction that I was like, I think I started this company in like this grieving mourning stage. Like I felt obligated to do it. It wasn't what I was lit up to do. And I knew I had so much more to learn. And so I was like, yep, jump ship. So I just, decided to sell my shop for 3 times the profit. Didn't know how to do any of that either. Just figured that out, and in a matter of 3 months, that shop was gone. I was working full time as a marketing director and business development leader. And 8 years I stayed there.
Wow.
And I stayed there because I was comfortable, Michelle, right? I feel like a lot of women, we get comfortable with where we're at. Whether you're an entrepreneur or not, we can get comfortable. And I just kept getting those subtle hints that I was meant for more. And I knew that, right? Like companies would be like, hey, you want to come work for us? I'm like, no, I love my job. My mentor was like, hey, what are you going to do when when you're ready to move on? And so I started coaching part-time because I was loving helping women, right? We would meet at a Panera Bread every Sunday and I would help these women lose weight and create lifestyle habits because I was like, it's the habits, the daily habits that actually make life easy, right? It's like automatic, healthy things. And I was like, wow, I was on a stage in Texas at a health coaching conference in front of 800 people. And I realized in that moment after I was giving a keynote and I realized I was like, this is what I meant to do. Like I felt that electricity run through my body. I was like, oh my God, I love speaking. I love helping. I love supporting. And 2 weeks later, I left the collision center after 8 years and I just ripped the Band-Aid off and went into business for myself yet again. So all of that to like get to the quantum leader that you see here today, ladies, it was not by accident. I have worked for everything that I have. Nothing was given to me. I have manifested like nobody's business, but I've also worked really hard. That's the balance between the alpha and the queen. So that's kind of what got me here. I'm happy to dive into, quantum leaping codes, if whatever you want to do or wherever we want to go and
Yeah,
take this.
well, I really love, like, we had talked a little bit before we started, and there's some points that when you meet somebody, I always find this so beautiful because it's always aligned, right? It's a resonance. It's something that you don't even know, like you're doing in this moment. But there's language, there's coding, there's things like, as I'm learning, like who my ideal client is, what have they been through, what are the things? Like, I swear you not, like I've written certain phrases down. And so you meet people along your way, and here you are with this beautiful bounty of business and mission. And there are specific things that you say that I know are a part of people that I'm coded to help too. And there always be like different, nuances with the humans. But one of them is knowing that you can have it all,
Oof. Yes, girl.
right?
Yes. Our
And what
core
is
value here.
what is that for you? Like, what is your all definition? What are you thinking you're operating off with all, and where's your own permission slip, right? And so they're all, of course, places that I've discovered myself more deeply, because the truth was I didn't know who I was. I was really lost after having lost family members, our business, like there's a whole transition that happened, and I was very numb, but waking up. And so I was pulled, like it felt like someone was just leading me by my heart and I didn't know where it was taking me. But that whole concept of what holds women back from having it all. I feel like these kind of two things go together. There's a mindset evolution from where they are to where they want to be, from coach to revolutionary leader, from entrepreneur to, inspirational leader. Like what are those moments? You didn't sign up and say, oh, I'm going to start with my tuxedo shop and then I'm going to move into speaking on stage. Like, that's not how it works.
Right. No, I actually just had a conversation with a client. She's brand new and she's like, I just want to find my purpose. And I was like, oh, see, I think it's not something you can just go out and like purchase at the store, right? And like, oh, I've got it now. Like it truly evolves and it finds you, right? Like on that stage, the plan was to always wait to coach full time and speak full time when my husband retired. It was all still about like his journey, his career. I was like, I'm just doing this kind of like on the side, right? Like my side hustle. Um, and so I was like, no, I think your purpose finds you. You just have to you have to like stop being so busy and you have to be willing to hear and see the signs that the universe is like leading you on. And like and she was like, oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. I was like, yeah, that moment on stage, like I had no idea that I was going to rip the band. 8 years of being super comfortable, by the way. And then all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm ready to coach. I'm ready to speak. And in 2019, I mean, whoo, right? Like going from like broke ass coach, living on credit cards, trying to make it work. Divorce hit me, Hashimoto's hit me, like everything just kept hitting me. And I had nothing but a dream. And it wasn't until like I had this epiphany. It was like, no, you're here for this, right? And your dream will take you where you want to go. So in 2019, I made 10 grand that year. And here now I'm running a 7-figure company with a team of 7. So like anything is possible, ladies. Anything is possible. But yeah, having it all, that's such a juicy conversation. And I love that. I remember reading something that you posted, I think, on Facebook about having it all. I'm like, another woman who gets it. Yes, right? Like, give us all permission to have it all. And that's going to look different for everyone, ladies. But I do think that the biggest thing that holds you back from having it all is believing that you're even capable of creating, what I call an alpha queen life.
Yeah.
Having, yeah.
Yes, right. Like I met you last year. We went to a live event called Transcendence, and I think we met dancing, honestly, if I'm remembering correctly. I saw you, but I think we literally met like at the dance parties, which was really fun. So that's really fun. That was a fun little memory just now. But there's a moment at that event where I had this epiphany, and I want to be completely transparent and honest with you. Like I am a multitasking, like organized. I can get it all done. Like I know that, right? I also can burn myself out because I love to work. I can also do a lot of things, right? And so there's been a lot of trial and error. I feel like we can have 10 conversations on body, but let's just bring it back into our self-realization because that's the most important thing in our leadership. In the midst of losing yourself, things will happen. You will forget. You will forget who you are. You will forget what a powerful leader you are. You will forget that you're even a powerful decision maker. And I had this epiphany sitting at the table about halfway into that event. Oh my God, I am a freaking powerful decision maker. And I'm over here pretending that I have a hard time making decisions. But I want to specify that journey because yes, you are and can be, and you wouldn't be here listening if you weren't a power, like just get over that. Let's just line that out right now.
Yeah.
And you will face yourself in decisions where you're not fully committed, or you haven't decided what you want, or you haven't been all in because you're not even sure what it is that you want. That is the meat where you're going to find yourself in all of these conversations.
Yeah.
And there's going to be, in my opinion, you can speak to this as well, please, but there's a depth of really the aha moments that begin to unfold in who you are in that identity, but also in the embodiment of that leadership, because there is mindset, there is energetics, there is somatic healing, there's all kinds of things that go on. And that was my journey to get where I'm at. And it continues to be in ways that just blow my own mind away while I'm on my trajectory too. I'm not 7 figures in my business yet. That's okay. But I'm also left my business. I'm no longer a side hustle. I'm doing things I didn't think I can do before. And that's where I'm playing. Like, I don't think there is a comfort zone anymore.
No, and that's what's amazing is when you start believing in yourself, when you create a mindset of what I call the all-in mindset, right? It's a mentality, it's a lifestyle, it's like a code that I live by. Like when you can start to just tap into this and own who the F you are, like you're like, there's nothing I can't do. Are you freaking kidding me? Like there is no like in fact I don't even want to be comfortable anymore. Like I was like I can't believe that was me, right? I was like, oh, this is so great. And that's okay, right? Like everyone, like it's like a staircase, right? It was like, okay, this feels comfortable. Now I'm going to sit here and cruise, and then I'm going to go up and up and up. I happen to be a woman who just loves now to like rip band-aids off. I'm like, how uncomfortable can I get? Because that's to me where my growth is the biggest, and the quickest transformation is like, if this feels scary, if I feel fear in the body, I'm gonna just jump and then I'm gonna figure it out because I can trust myself and I believe in myself. And I've given myself no reason not to trust or believe in myself. Like everything I've gone through has always set me up for some bigger success story when it could have clearly set me back and challenged me. But yeah, I was like, no, I'm still at the top. And for me, at the top is just living my best life. It's being the best version of me every day. I'm not competing against anyone's best life, right? Like it's like I'm happy and I'm free and I'm financially, secure and, I'm healthy, the healthiest I've ever been. My relationships are juicy. So that to me is having it all, right? I've got the business, the clients, the money, the lifestyle, the travel, the culture exchanges. And because of all that, then I'm able, to give back on a global scale and really just, donate time and resources and support. So yeah,
We're
so good.
I love that so much. Like I'm thinking of this, I'm like visualizing this little timeline as you're talking. And there's a moment where you're like, I'm gonna be a coach, and then your coaching got going and you started being successful and you started making more than your $10,000. What was the moment that really evolved for you and that mindset into revolutionary leader? What was the moment where you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about making the money every month now?
No.
It's the next, it's like it feels like that leap. I guess maybe it's the $100,000 crest, right? Once we make 100,000, then we're really something. And then we're moving into like exponentially growing that. There was a moment in your
Mhm.
business where that moved the needle. Who were
100%.
you and what was going on when you began to watch it shift?
It was actually 16 months ago. So y'all, like 2019 sucked. I told you, broken homeless. 2020, I was like, I've still got a dream. I think I could do this. 2021, I finally started getting some clients. Like I was like maybe $3,000 or $4,000 consistently. I was like, oh, I can breathe. Y'all, $3,000 felt like I could breathe again, but then once I had this amazing moment. I was sitting around a table with about 20 different leaders. We were getting ready to hike the Grand Canyon 16 months ago. And I have this conversation with my coach. And he said, Karissa, what are you creating this year? And actually, it was such an amazing moment for me because I got to share my dreams and like no holds back, right? I was like, it doesn't matter if I get to create it or not. Like I was just so excited. I just like was like vomiting out all of these visions and ideas for women's empowerment. And he goes, I want to tell you about the evolution of an entrepreneur. He said, there's the coach, right? Solopreneur, AKA, right? If we will, whether you're a coach or not, there's the solopreneur who will always just stay in the day-to-day grind, who will work, work the clients, who will do the calls. He then said, then the CEO or the solopreneur goes to a CEO, right? Where they start running an actual company. There's a different mindset and identity shifts with each one of these, you guys. So then he kind of explains the CEO and he's like, you're already that. You already have the vision of building this massive company, not just for you and like the day-to-day clientele, but it's like something a little bigger. He goes, then there's the investor. And the investor is someone who's not just investing in their own company, their own team and themselves, but also other companies. They truly are becoming wealth circulators. He's like, you're already doing that.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, but I don't have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in like accounts. And he's like, no, that's like, that'll come. He goes, then there's the movement maker though, the revolutionary leader, right? So there was kind of like those four stages. And he goes, Karissa, what you just shared with me is a vision so powerful. He's like, it's a vision of a movement maker. And I like just kind of like my jaw just kind of dropped. I was like, do you think I have what it takes for like just for a split second did I doubt my abilities? And he's like, oh, hell yes. I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you if I didn't think that you were capable of creating this magic. And I kid you not, Michelle, I felt like a completely different woman after I left that table. Like I was like, all I had to hear was the different identities. Is like, you're already all of these. It's just a matter of a simple pivot. And I realized I was like, oh shit, I just wasn't dreaming big enough. I wasn't thinking big enough. I wasn't allowing myself to like play that big until I had like hit the 100K, 200K. And the minute I just decided that I was a movement maker, hundreds of thousands of dollars came in every single month, had a $176,000 week. Like things just became so easy for me and clients were coming to me and I was like, I don't even have to market anymore. Like DMs are flying in and it feels so good to be in alignment with who I'm destined to be. But that was the moment I just decided, I was like, I guess I'm a movement maker. And I walked away that day and I was like, yeah, that's me. And I just started making different decisions. I started treating myself differently. I was buying first class tickets instead of thinking, sure, I could afford it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to save that. I'm like, no, because this is what an alpha queen is. And I truly embodied that life that I desired, that I wanted, and I craved. And I was like, wow, this is easy. Like, why didn't anyone tell me, like, just flip the switch? Like, just flip it. And so I'm telling anyone who's listening today, just flip the damn script. Like, you get to choose.
I love that. I think there's so many golden threads in that that little segment right there, which is so good. I just want to go back. You were making $3,000 to $4,000 a month at this moment where your coach approaches you and says, hey, you're already a coach, you're already a CEO, you're already an investor, and you're already this money making movement maker.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
no, yeah, I was about 5K at this time. Like I was finally, I had just shifted from VIP coaching to group coaching. So I have like a hybrid model where it includes it all because I'm like, women want it all. Let's give it to them all, right? VIP group, custom plans, like all the stuff. And so I just kind of made that leap. For a lot of coaches, that's a huge pivot all on their own, is like, how do I go from VIP to group? But I knew I couldn't keep up with the VIP, with the type of value that I wanted to bring, my own energetic level. Like I was like, yo, at the end of the day, I'm tired and I cannot coach another session. So I had to make the shift from VIP to group. So I just done a lot of like actual like business shifting, like model wise, strategic wise, strategy wise, sales call wise. So really it was hearing it and I was like, holy shit, like, yes, I can absolutely do this. And yeah, it was the easiest pie. So every time someone's like, oh, I've got to like work, like I got to hit these like stages. I'm like, says who, right? Society, like stop listening to all that and just decide you want to be something, decide you want to create something and do it.
I love that. And I love the powerful perspective of there at some point you got in the rooms, you got
Mm,
into experiences, you got into the sitting at the tables that you may have not have thought of previously, but being like for me, being in a room of 150 humans
mhm.
that were like me and
Mhm.
different levels, like that changed my life. And
Yes.
then the conversations and the opportunities and the things that came from that, I don't know why I went. I just knew I needed to be there. And I think that if we can let those kind of pulls, those are like our higher selves, like, pulling you forward, going, do the thing. You'll find out things about yourself for you to be able to make those next level decisions. And like, I love what you said, like just, you can literally decide today and that timeline gets shifted, and you don't have to know the how, you don't have to know all the things, you just got to commit to it, and I believe it really always does show up. One of those things for me this year was seeing this effort that you created around helping, like this bigger mission, this bigger vision of who you are as a human being. And there was a brief moment on social media where I saw you posting about a trip that you went to Kenya. And my heart, just like that same description of like you were on stage talking, like everything in my body resonated with, I can do that.
Mm.
Followed by, I've never been to Kenya. I've never really traveled. I've not really traveled to do the things that like you're talking about. But all I kept thinking was, yes, oh my God, this is what I'm looking for this year, something different, right? And then I don't know, life got busy. I had clients coming in. I had busy things in my business. I was excited and I lost track of where you were with that. It felt like a weeks. Like, I don't even know where I caught in on that. But then the next post I see is, oh my gosh, we're full. And I'm like, shit, like I didn't take the action. I literally had this like message and I was going to message you and I never sent it. And it's such an apropos moment for like the decisions and taking the actions and doing the things. Well, luckily for me, life just worked itself out because I had decided, you know what, I'm just going to send you a message and I'm going to say, hey, I don't know if I missed it, or maybe I can get on the next one. Like, I don't even know what this is, but I want to be a part of it. Like, my whole soul is saying, yes, please. And so, we fast forward the story. Next thing you know, I'm a speaker going to Kenya with you again this year. And I am so freaking excited. We are less than a month away from actually getting on a plane at time of recording this and release. And I just would love for you to speak to that for a moment, because talk about like movement maker. Not only do you have this business that's thriving and you're helping change the lives of women, but you have this empowerment movement now also birthing from it in the connections that you've made and the people that you've come across and the opportunities you said yes to. And I would just love to know your story on how that began to unfold and what that means to you.
100%. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. So I am a woman who believes 100% without a doubt you should always have a coach in your back pocket, like always. It's a part of my P&L. I don't want to do life without coaches and mentors ever again. So let's just like break it down to the most basic. Like how did I even get to Kenya the very first time? Because like I'm a Nebraska girl, y'all. Like yes, military, but like we still stay in our American communities, when we're overseas. So I had a coach one time. She was my speaking coach, Dee Dee Wong. She was phenomenal. Loved her. She introduced me, right? That's the power of having a coach and a mentor that's well connected. She said, I got a text one day, said, Karissa, you need to be on this speaking tour. And I was like, oh, am I going to get paid? And she's like, no. In fact, you're going to have to pay them and it'll be over $10,000, but it'll be worth it. And I was like, what is happening? Because she knew I was, going out and becoming like this paid speaker. And so anyways, I took the risk. I saw I was like, oh my gosh, that's part of the vision that I had at that table with the leader I didn't know the how. And I didn't, like you said, it's not our job to know the how. I just saw myself leading movements of women and breaking generations of bullshit, right? Like poverty, obesity, wealth, like all the things. And so when I was like, wow, I could go and speak to 10,000 people, specifically girls and teens and young female college students on how they could create a life of their dreams from nothing. Because I don't come from some fancy background. I didn't graduate college. I quit high school. I had a son at 15. Like I've beaten so many odds and statistics, and I wanted them to see that too. I went on this tour. I actually had a client who one of her goals was to speak to 5,000 people that year. And I was like, girl, I got an opportunity for you. That's the give back, right? There's no scarcity here with me. So it's like, how about you say yes to this opportunity too? Let's go together. So she came as her company, Reclaim Your Courage. I came as Alpha Queen. And you guys, when you're in another country, you just don't know how your language is really going to resonate. You're like, Alpha Queen, right? Like I know that guys don't even think that women can be princesses, let alone to be queens, right? And here, I'm 5 foot, bring the bold personality, the hot pink, the heels to Kenya. And these people loved it. And I fell in love with Kenya. And this is just one of our, this is our very first stop. But Leslie and I birthed Warrior Queens Rise at probably 1 a.m, exhausted, jet lagged. We just probably spoke to 10,000 people. We heard the need, we felt the need of these young women. And I was like, yo, we're here for something bigger. And it's not about us and it's not about our companies. And what do we need to do? And we literally were like, okay, when we go home, we're going to talk about creating our own thing and coming back on our own tour. 3 months later, we had our own business. So I'm also the co-founder of Warrior Queens Rise. It's a humanitarian speaking give back mission. It's truly an empowerment where empowerment meets purpose, in my opinion. But so 3 months later, we had an LLC. So, 4 months later, we had a tour and a website. And like, we were like, oh, we're king shit, right? Look at us. We have a website. And then 5 months later, full. All the applications are in. Everyone wants to be a part of this tour and be and just a part of this movement. It's bigger than us. And that's when you came in, and we're so freaking excited. So Warrior Queens Rise is definitely where empowerment meets purpose. We're on a mission to transform the lives of women on a global level, fostering personal growth and championing gender equality. So Warrior Queens Rise, we address issues like critical issues, I should say. Like these are not just like, hey, it's gender-based violence, it's FGM, it's access to feminine napkins and products, it's mental health. And so every person, every speaker, every donation that has ever come in is just getting sent right back to Kenya. And this is just the start, Michelle. Like we just planned 2025 stateside event, as well as we've got India. We were just invited to come to India and Thailand. Like it's going to be off the chain. I love it. And I'm so excited that you're a part of it.
Thank you so much. I am too. I'm full body chills over here, just going, man, just the ripple, right? It's so good. But I love that. And I would love, you to tell us where we can find you in all the spaces, but I'd also love to just take a moment. Is there a piece, like if someone wants to donate, if someone wants to help contribute to Warrior Queens Rise, like where's the best place right now as we prepare to go on we're there on the 17th, right? So I'm like, I think I travel on different days and all the things, but Is there something, if someone's like, I want to be a part, I want to help donate, is there a place we can put the links in the show notes? But where are we at now with this as far as moving forward with what we're looking to help?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've been raising funds the last 30 days to end period poverty. I literally just emailed our Ruby Cup. We've partnered with Ruby Cups, which is like a global organization providing sustainable, right? We went there thinking, oh, let's donate pads and tampons. Like that's not sustainable for feminine hygiene products. So we actually, partnered up with Ruby Cups. And so oh, Michelle, it's going to be amazing. So we're about to donate $12,000 worth of Ruby cups. That's like over 500 young girls are going to get a cup that will last them 10 years. And the most important part about that, you guys, I just have to a full picture, right? Is like one girl gets one cup who lasts 10 years. When she can stay in school, she's not on the streets. She's not out selling her body. She's getting educated now because there was no option for her to stay in school when she was on, her period. So yes, like that, all that to say is like, it's going to be phenomenal to be able to donate all of these cups to Manga School of Girls. Super exciting, but to donate, right? Because you can go Ruby Cup route. It's humanitarian tour. So we're going to be partaking in rebuilding some houses. So you can always go to warriorqueensrise.com, scroll down. You can donate there. That's WARRIORQUEENRISE.com. That's the best place to just donate and apply even to be a speaker for our next opportunity too.
Yes, I love that. Oh my gosh. Yay. Okay, perfect. Well, tell us where we can find you because you're amazing. And I want all the people to know where to connect with you, where you hang out, all the things on the socials.
Yes. Well, okay. So first off, only if you're an ambitious woman with big ass goals, come find me. If not, like you don't need to come and search me and waste your time. Okay. So first off, just go to Google, put in Alpha Queens Rise, Alpha ALPHAQUEEN, Alpha Queen Collective. That's my company. You'll find the social media channels there. You'll find my website there. It's phenomenal. All of the information is on there. But y'all, you know how to Google. Go Google Alpha Queen Collective or Karissa Atkins. You'll find me. We have a phenomenal community on Facebook, where we're teaching. Me and my coaches were always in there giving business advice, health advice, how to balance out this entrepreneurial lifestyle, the mindset, EFT tapping, meditation. It's all in there and it's all free. So we can eliminate that excuse too. So anyways, yeah, alphaqueencollective.com.
Oh, I love it so much. And we'll be sure to have all those links down below in the show notes. All right, the last question. Well, there's maybe two questions. I named this podcast Michelleing Podcast, but the vision behind it is all conversations around purpose, presence, and prosperity, because those pieces to me are everything in who we can become, where we can meet ourselves. And so I always love asking my guests, like, how do you feel those words? What is your perception or definition of those words as they come into conversation right now? What message would you like to leave with the audience as we define that?
I think it's all about following your heart. So many entrepreneurs, we get caught up in other people's fears and they project all that onto us and we can forget how powerful we are. So when I think purpose and passion and just following, your why, it all comes down to your heart. So close your eyes, ask yourself, what will make you happy? What does your soul desire? And whatever comes up, just trust that it's supposed to be there and that will lead you on your path. So y'all follow your heart. It will never steer you wrong.
I love that so much. Beautiful. And do you have any free gifts before we go that you want to point people to as well? That's something I didn't mention earlier.
Yeah. So code number 6. I know we didn't even talk quantum looping codes. We can totally come back and do all of that.
We got to, yeah.
Rapid success, right? But code number 6 is all around timeline jumping and mindset reprogramming. So I've put a beautiful course together. It's 21 guided hypnotic and meditation. There's a big difference. And as a hypnotherapist, I've added in some magic to these guided meditations. So it's a 21 guided meditation series, giving you full access to creating the body, the business, the lifestyle, the income, all the freedom that you desire. It's a gift. I want to gift it to all of your listeners here. So yeah, click on the show notes. That link is down below.
Beautiful. Gosh, thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for being here and sharing all of your magic. It's just been an absolute amazing conversation and absolutely would love to have you back. So
Yeah, anytime, girl, anytime.
sounds great. All
Maybe
right.
Kenya will come and we'll really give them the impact too.
I know. I'm so excited. Okay. Well, thank you so much again. And I'll see you guys again next week for a whole nother episode. Bye for now.